I haven't filmed a sit down video in such a long time. I feel like I start every video by saying something like that though. Today I am filming an anxiety Q&A. I asked on Instagram for you guys to ask me some mental health and anxiety related questions, and I got a lot of good ones. I got loads and loads and loads of questions. I don't think I'll be able to answer all of them today, but I will try. I'll see how long it is. I don't want it to be a really long video, but I got loads of really good questions. The first question I got was, can you be angry because of anxiety? Definitely. Anxiety has an absolutely massive scale. You can be somebody that's nervous in social situations, you can be somebody that has a phobia, you can be somebody that doesn't like to be alone, agoraphobia, whatever it is. There's so many different types of anxiety, and these anxieties manifest themselves in different ways. I've definitely felt frustrated, very frustrated because of my anxiety. I've definitely felt irritable, and like I've been more argumentative with my family and stuff like that if I've had a bad day, or I've just been so fed up with having the same life. Anxiety makes my life quite samey. Most of my days are quite similar. And so sometimes I can get really frustrated with that and quite angry that my life isn't normal or the same as other people's lives. So having anger because of your anxiety, absolutely, that's definitely something I think a lot of people experience. But anger is also something you can go to therapy for, which I don't think many people really think. But anger management and just general therapy for anger is a really, really great thing. I got a question that is, what's the best way to deal with anxiety? I think this is just so dependent on the person. There's so many different types of anxiety, and what might work for me doesn't always work for other people. Me and my partner both have anxiety, but we have very different anxieties, and things that I need or things that I want when I'm feeling anxious might not work for him. So that's very important. I think the number one thing you have to do if you realise that you are somebody that has anxiety is understand what kind of anxiety, what kind of things make you anxious, how do you feel when you're anxious? Is it your tummy that feels anxious? Is it your thoughts? Do you get pain? What is it that makes you feel anxious? I think the number one thing I can say to anybody that has anxiety is, you know your boundaries and you know what makes you feel safe and what makes you feel unsafe. I think really look into and understand those boundaries yourself, and I think then make your boundaries aware to everybody else. Anybody that has an issue with your boundaries, anybody that makes you feel guilty or makes you feel like you're stupid or whatever it is, don't let them come into your boundaries. Your boundaries are there to make you feel safe, your boundaries are there for a reason, and your boundaries are important, and only you can decide when you're ready to get rid of those boundaries or to make those boundaries different, but that is completely down to you, and don't let anybody else change those boundaries for you. I got another question that is, do you often try and find out where your troubles with mental health came from? This is something that I've been doing a lot with my therapist over the past couple of years-ish. I've seen her on and off, but there's a lot of stuff when it comes to my past that I didn't realise had such a massive effect on me now. We've kind of figured out different things that happened in my childhood that had a massive effect on me. There was deaths in the family, there was lots of things that happened. I could talk about it in another video. I don't think it's a video for today, but there's definitely a lot of things that happened in my childhood that have massively affected me today. And I think one of the only ways to kind of really understand what happened and why you have mental health problems is through therapy. Like I've said before on this channel, therapy is completely down to you. You do not have to go through therapy, and if you don't feel ready for that, that's absolutely okay. But I really would recommend it, especially if you're somebody that wants to go into why you have mental health problems, why you think you do, because all of these things I would never have seen myself. There's I think there's definitely massive parts of you that you can't analyse, because you're so close to yourself. You are the person in question, do you know what I mean? I'm not very good at wording things today, but I think when it comes to investigating your past and finding out why you have mental health problems, I think that's definitely down to speaking with a therapist or speaking with somebody that has a kind of therapy role in your life, to try and figure that out, because half of the stuff that were obviously massive parts of my life and massive things that made me unwell, I would never have thought made me unwell. I would never have thought they were the things that made me very anxious. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth looking into, because I think when you figure out why you have anxiety, what kind of experiences you had in the past that made you who you are now, I think it definitely has some form of healing. And through my therapy that I've been in anyway, I've been able to kind of talk to that part of myself. I've been able to understand that part of myself. I've been able to have conversations with my parents about that time in my life, and I've been able to, we often talk about talking to the little part of you that's the anxiety, and the little child that felt neglected or alone or whatever that is. And I found that really beneficial. Next question is, any tips on not letting emetophobia rule everything? Emetophobia, if you don't know, is the phobia of sick, and it is massively debilitating. It's horrific, it's really, really hard, and I'm still living with it every day, and I struggle with it every day. Firstly, what I realised is emetophobia isn't necessarily about the sick, it's about the fact that you can't control it. That's something, when I realised that, I felt more kind of in control of it, because I knew that it wasn't necessarily me being ill, it was that I couldn't control being ill and there's nothing I could do about it. Another thing that really helps me, and I'm going to touch wood, is knowing I haven't been sick in years, and it's very unlikely that I'm going to be. I feel sick quite a lot, and whenever I have a panic attack, it's usually due to the fact that I feel very unwell, but I've never been sick from a panic attack. I've never been sick from food poisoning, because I don't really eat meat, I don't eat anything that could really make me ill. Yeah, I could get a sickness bug, and all that kind of stuff, but I've not been sick in a very, very, very long time, and so it's quite unlikely to happen. Something that really, really helps me is my friends and my family and my boyfriend are all very aware of my emetophobia, and whenever I'm really struggling, whenever I'm having a panic attack, whenever I'm feeling really unwell, is they always remind me, you're not going to be sick, nothing bad is going to happen. You know you're not going to be sick because you've had a panic attack a million times and you've never been sick from a panic attack. You know how many times you've felt like this and nothing bad's ever happened. I think all that kind of stuff really, really helps me. I am going to do a whole video on emetophobia in the new year, because I know what it's like to have emetophobia. I could get emotional about it because it's horrific, and I've said on this channel before, it's the third most common phobia in the world, and it's the most debilitating because it's just all-consuming, and it really does have the ability to rule your life, and everything in your life seems to revolve around sick, and everything in your life revolves around not getting sick, and if there's somebody around you that's sick, then it's like absolute, you would rather die than be there. I know how that feels, and I'm going to really properly do a real long video on emetophobia and all my tips, and I'm afraid I'm not well enough to have a recovery video on that yet, but that's something we can work on together and work towards together. Can anxiety make you feel very low and tearful? Absolutely. So much yes. Anxiety can be so debilitating. It can rule your life. It can make you very ill. It can make you not able to work, not able to have proper relationships, not able to leave your house. It is debilitating, and it is an illness, and it is hard. Very, very, very hard. And of course, living with that every single day, of course, you are going to get frustrated and pissed off and tearful and feel like there's no point and feel like life is too hard. I have never had depression. I'm very lucky that I do find a lot of joy in a lot of things in life, but there's definitely days where I'm like so frustrated at the fact that I can't go into town and go shopping and go to the cinema and do all these things with ease. It's very frustrating. Whether you have anxiety or not, everybody has these low days where they feel very tearful, but when you have anxiety, it's just, life's so frustrating and it's really hard. And again, that's another video I could make, is trying to pick yourself up when you're feeling low from anxiety, because there's definitely things you can do, but it's definitely very normal. I have lots more questions that are really, really great questions that I'm going to answer in another video, because this video is already pretty long because I have rambled on for each question. Thank you so much to everybody that sent me a question, because they've all been really great questions that I really liked thinking about. And also the fact that all these questions are being asked means there's other people that are feeling the exact same way as us. There's so many of us, and I just got a comment today on one of my videos saying, like, it's so easy when you are the person in your friendship group that has mental health problems, or you don't really know anybody that's debilitated as much as you are with your mental health problems. It's really easy to feel like you are the only person that deals with it and nobody really gets it, and feel really alone with it. But the fact that I've got all these questions, the fact that I've got subscribers, the fact that you're watching this, that means that we aren't alone in the way we're feeling. Even when you feel like nobody else can suffer this badly, I don't know anyone else that suffers this badly, there's always somebody that understands and that's been through what you're going through. And I'm really, really happy that we can have a platform here where we can actually experience that. We can actually experience the people that have gone through what we've gone through. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Bye!